Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North American Online Open October 2020 Finals. We just watched Dialga secure his spot in Grand Finals against Null in a dominating performance, and we're about to take a look at the other side of the bracket, but we were just talking during the break, and I think Dialga might be the clear favorite. As you said, all of these are seasoned competitors, veterans of the ring, have definitely made their name known, but Dialga was just looking unstoppable there.
Yeah, it was pretty insane. So you'll get an opportunity to see Dialga compete, guys, if you haven't already, in Grand Finals, because rightfully so, that's where he belongs. Just like the way he's terrorized so far. This bracket, which you'll get to take a look at, and you'll really just kind of see what we have coming up at the moment. We're gonna open things up with, I believe, losers semis, as we should. There, Shouko and Wisdom gonna duke it out. That's gonna be really exciting to see how that one goes down. And I'm interested to see who Shouko is really going to play here, Coney, against Duck Hunt, a real dedicated kind of setup character.
Yeah, it felt like Shouko was a little lost against Null in their match, just because the setup that Null had, all the projectiles with the arms, just so many different things that were coming for Shouko at all times, that I don't know if she's going to be ready for Wisdom, who is going to have sort of a similar vibe going on, right? With all the projectiles, the gunmen, and the can, and especially if it's on a stage with lower platforms, like a small battlefield or regular battlefield, PS2, even a Kalos. I feel like Wisdom is going to be able to make that home under the platforms and make life very difficult for Shouko.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, that's honestly, that's the main thing kind of you have to kind of keep in the back of your mind if you're Shouko. Okay, like, well, you know, which one of these characters is going to just provide me with the best resources to get through, you know, that landmine, that playground of just, you know, that crazy setup that Duck Hunt loves to put out and bring to the table. So there's a lot of stressful factors that can go into this one as well. But it looks like we have our match selection. Who we going with? Joker. Okay, no swordsman available. No swordsman needed for this. Just gonna go with the Joker and maybe kind of take the Dialga approach, right? With kind of just having a character that's quick and gonna be able to maybe kind of rush down and just kind of wade through a lot of those traps that he's gonna put out.
Yeah, I think that Joker was the right choice here, just because Joker does have the speed and also really a lot of the options and frame data to get through the projectiles. And on top of that, any damage that you take, you're going to be able to rack up. Yeah, there we go. Arsene is coming alive here, trying to get as much damage as possible. Arsene is out, so we'll see if Shouko can make something of it. She's going to have to chase down this dog who just keeps putting out these pesky tricks and traps. Excellent up air, not quite enough to KO, but close.
I love that combo string off the Clay Pigeon, just that additional bit of damage, and that's why Shouko already up to 138, so she certainly has her work cut out for her. And you mentioned how Arsene coming out, you know, taking a fair amount of damage, but you're really not getting too much value out of it necessary. But no, Arsene, no problem. A clean back air secures that stock off of the stage. What a play. I mean, and those are the kind of plays you have to make. Those openings present themselves, you have to make them count.
See a two-stock game there. Shouko with the tech check on that one, the execution test. She was able to knock Wisdom with that back air. Wisdom was not ready for it. Eats the stage spike and does not tech it, but Wisdom coming back strong with some more damage of his own. Trying to keep Shouko in the air. There's the double up air. Shouko struggling to land between the can and all of these duck hits. That beak firmly lodged into Shoko's side.
Just kind of shows you exactly what Wisdom, again, really just sticking to the script despite losing that stock first, already back in the driver's seat, back in control. And Arsene really not being that formidable at the moment, able to kind of clean through. This would be huge if you could secure a back air, but just going high. Wisdom smart about it, trying to wear out and run out the timing on Arsene, able to complete that mission. And now this should be a situation where Wisdom's like, okay, this is where I need to strike. This should be where the stocks start to fall and my advantage continues to snowball.
See 100% now on Shouko, trying to do what she can to get in, tries to go for the grab. A little bit of a bait there by Wisdom. You saw the perfectly timed on the spot dodge into counter attack. The down smash is going to spell Shouko's doom on that second stock, and Wisdom able to check Shouko as she tries the edge guard, gets a little bit of free damage, and sometimes you get a little bit too aggressive off stage when you feel like you need to come back, and I think that's what we saw from Shouko there, EE.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, and that's just one of those things where it's just kind of like you're feeling already like you're under the pressure, right? So you just want to get back and kind of keep it moving as far as that offense goes, but you have to be wise, you have to be smart, and we've seen Wisdom so many times be able to bait, tries to maybe get Shouko to swing early there with the air dodge, but not falling for the bait, the patience paying out, and the Arsene assisted down smash, getting Shouko some life back on this final stock.
And that's such a good point that you saw Wisdom trying to get Shouko to push the button a little early. Timing is so important in these matchups. And you saw Wisdom with that excellent spot dodge earlier to get the KO on Shouko, and Shouko responding back with the down smash of her own. Now the can is out. Shoko's going to have to wade through all of these objects. 146, pretty much anything should KO. I love the tilt there to stop Wisdom from going for the grab. You have to imagine Wisdom was going to go for the grab into the throw, into the can. But Shouko, so wise against Wisdom, was able to get a little bit more. 51% on Wisdom now.
Oof, just narrowly able to get back
So
Wisdom. I know it's such a low percent. Almost saw the stock fall by the wayside, but able to keep it alive. Shouko 146. Arsene just a couple ticks away. Anything, Coney, can still happen at this juncture in the match.
So close. Arsene is almost here. There he is. Shouko just needs one more big hit, some kind of clean hit. I love the use of guns there to stop the can, taking the threat away. On Wisdom's side, you can see the forward smash there. Wisdom trying to hide under that can in the shield. And the gunman stands no chance against Shouko there.
Nair? Yep, that'll do it. Man, and I credit Shouko for continuing to just try and just bully her way through. You know, Wisdom kind of had the right idea that last, 20 seconds or so. It's like, okay, let me just create some space, because I know I've seen it too many times where Arsene can just steal a stock at those kind of percents, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of it. So credits to Shouko. She fought hard down the stretch, but Wisdom just played it the right way. Patience paying out.
And it felt like a situation where one of the players is down, but eventually they start outpacing the others. Some tortoise in the hair stuff, and it felt like Shouko was eventually hitting the nitrous and was able to come back a little bit harder. She looked so strong there at the end, but unfortunately it was just not enough. And once you get to that high a percent where more and more moves will begin to KO, to get KO'd by something like Duck Hunt neutral air, it's just, it means that if you maybe didn't take 10, 15, 20, 30% earlier, you might have been able to survive that hit and get the KO and then win the game. But you saw Shouko just, unfortunately, a little bit too high and will perish to Duck Hunt neutral air. Not a move we see KOing that often.
It's kind of crazy. You mentioned if you're able to just kind of avoid the extra like 15, 20% earlier, but that's such a hard ask against Duck Hunt, isn't it? You know what I mean? Just the way he's able to set up so proficiently. And then, of course, Wisdom, who's just somebody his execution is just darn near flawless in a lot of aspects. So it is a tough ask, no doubt about it. But I think what Shouko could take away from that is I can definitely keep these matches clean. So there's no reason I can't come away with a victory on top of that. But maybe going to a stage, I think we both agree here, probably favors Wisdom overall.
Yeah, no question. We saw this before. Wisdom was able to set up against Dialga. Did not quite pan out the way that we expected, but Wisdom going to try to do the same against Shouko, who's able to fight her way under the platforms, not quite landing the down guns, and gives Wisdom full stage control. And that's one big risk that you take whenever you chase Duck Hunt off stage, is you're giving up stage if they're able to get around you, which is huge for Duck Hunt.
Couldn't agree anymore with that point. Looks like Shouko is gonna try and slow things down, take her time in these approaches, but oh man, it's just knowing that you're gonna take some unfavorable trades at times. And I love what Wisdom just does. Let me just put out the gunman. I get a little bit of protection from her. I get a shot as well. But with Arsene, Shouko's just like, I'm just gonna kind of rip through that and not give you too much of an opportunity to get anything started.
I love the game of chicken there off stage. You saw Wisdom going so low, and Shouko was trying to wait with the back air and wait for the air dodge on that one. Excellent.
Lovely.
Yeah, just the patience there to pull the trigger right there with the air dodge. Shouko now firmly in control. Oh no!
Wisdom heard you making that sentence and put the period on it. Put the period on it for you. That was just wild, just out of nowhere. Just look at this, just trying to surge into the lead, taking control of the stage. Just like that, Shouko finding herself bordering those higher percents, but Arsene coming through and maybe mitigate some of this pressure, some of this damage. Platform being the key right here for Wisdom on that escape round, and just throwing out that hand, knocking Shouko back. And this is just bread and butter tactics right now for Wisdom. And it's working out quite well at the moment.
Yeah, Shouko cannot get too frustrated. Shouko is sort of running into hit after hit, and you have to think that she's a little frustrated after being so far ahead, only 80% on her first stock, and then got hit by that wild forward smash by Wisdom from the gunman. Right now, 153 the up air will not quite do it, but the can certainly will. As Shouko's second stock is gone, Wisdom only needs one more to advance onto losers finals.
Oh my goodness, the trend of 2-0 looking like it could very well continue unless Shouko can really just kind of change something at the moment. But oh my lord, already being lapped in percent. This is going crazy for Wisdom, just out here just slanging and banging at the moment. These cans, clay pigeons, gunmen, anything in the arsenal that Duck Hunt has been very potent and effective. Arsene having basically no say thus far, Coney. Just no kind of value out of that Arsene was presented.
Yeah, Arsene has not made an impact really at all. I mean, you saw the back air on the first stock, but ever since then, it has been all Wisdom who has lapped Shouko in terms of percent. You're going to see the up B there, trying to use that air dodge to get around Shouko. And Shouko, who previously was doing excellent in terms of the edge guards and keeping Wisdom off the stage, maybe a little bit shaky there, as Wisdom only needs one more big hit to advance on to losers finals.
We see him spamming out a couple of those smash attacks, looking to just make it come into existence. And he doesn't have too much to do at this point. I mean, at some point, you got to imagine that opening is going to present itself, whether you force it or not. All right,
wow. That pull-in, I thought Shouko air dodged right into a smash attack, but Wisdom was not quite ready for it. Weird option. Kicks the can. He's going to kick the bucket as well, as Shouko is knocked out of the tournament by Wisdom, who's going to advance on to losers finals with that excellent can placement, eating Shouko's aggression and punishing her huge for it.
Yeah, that was actually big time, and almost to a sense, I feel like that could have even been like a bait, just knowing that percentage of what was going to happen with that kind of knockback from the can. So really well done from Wisdom. Shouko having a heck of a run throughout this tournament, nothing to be ashamed of, but Wisdom just having a little bit more in the tank to advance to our next round competition. It's crazy.
Yeah, huge props to Shouko for making it this far. She will receive one of the top 4 trophies that we talked about earlier, but she will not receive the championship trophy that Null, Dialga, and Wisdom are still in contention for. Let's take another look at the bracket shortly. We've got losers finals coming up. So it's going to be Wisdom against Null. We've got Min Min against Duck Hunt. And I don't know if this match is going to be as fast as some of the other ones that we've seen, EE.
No, and again, and that's just anytime you have a character like Duck Hunt, you just kind of understand, like, the name of the game isn't to speed run, okay? It's to win, okay? It's to outlast, and that's something that Wisdom, Pilot, and Duck Hunt does quite well, as we've seen on several occasions throughout. So, both these guys obviously eager to get a rematch against Dialga, person who sent them to the loser side of the bracket, but who wants it more is really going to be the question. We really saw some strides, some good stuff between Wisdom and Dialga. Null kind of got blown out the water a little bit, I'm not going to lie. So for Null, you're kind of thinking like, okay, I am definitely getting my rematch, because I ain't getting punked out this bracket. I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna show out a little bit more than that.
Yeah, we'll see how they do, guys, and keep in mind, we may only have 2 more sets, potentially, maybe 3 if we get a reset, but there's only a couple more matches here for Regions 5 and 6, but after this, don't go anywhere. We've got Regions 3 and 4 coming up very shortly after, which is another top 4 filled with names you may recognize, along with some new competitors as well. But for right now, we're going to kick it over to Losers Finals very shortly. It's going to be Null against Wisdom, Min Min against Duck Hunt. I'm very interested to see how the arms interact with the projectiles. I think it all comes down to how well Null can actually nullify the can with those fists and be able to knock it back at Wisdom so that Null is not in harm's way when it comes to the can.
Yeah, it seemed to me like the most success that I've seen thus far against Wisdom, just, Duck Hunt in general, is just like when you're able to just kind of get up and get in their face, right? Just kind of bring that pressure to them. I don't know how well Min Min is necessarily going to do that, right? And you kind of keep in mind, like, okay, well, one of the go-to sometimes is kind of going, to the skies to get around some of those projectiles. Not the greatest air mobility on the side of Min Min either. So there's a lot of variables to really kind of factor in, and just how you're going to get that approach and kind of close in that distance. Obviously, like, your abilities with your arms is going to play a big factor here, but I think Wisdom's going to be pretty well prepared for that. So I think Null is going to have a little bit of an uphill battle, but not one that's impossible.
I agree too, and your points there actually made me realize that how important grabbing is against Duck Hunt, because Duck Hunt is going to want to put out the cam, going to try to put out the skeet shot, going to try to put out as much as possible the clay pigeon, and I feel like Min Min is going to really struggle because you can't really just run up and grab, at least not without taking considerable risk. We saw what Shouko tried to do going for the grab earlier, and Wisdom just hit that big spot dodge into the down smash, and Shouko lost her life at, I think, 90%, 80%. That stock was gone. So I think Null is going to have to be very careful in how he chooses to approach Wisdom Shield.
Yeah, and don't think, and that, that first stock that we saw too, there was that, you called it saying like it was kind of like a bait. I think it absolutely was. Like, I think when Wisdom gets you like in those situations where it's just like, okay, I need an opening, I need to get a grab, I need to get something to just kind of disrupt his flow. Like, when you see someone dashing, you can pretty much just predict exactly.
It looked very calculated.
Yes, exactly. So things like that, and for Min Min, it'll be even harder to an extent too, right?
Yes.
So that's why I feel like for Null, it's going to be a very big struggle. We'll see though how this first game goes. It could be very telling, and I don't know if Null plays anybody else, but just depending on how this first game goes, I have to see how deep those pockets go.
I'm wondering how the stage works here, because yes, there's a big platform to hide under, but Duck Hunt isn't the best at it, at least not on this kind of stage. Smashville a little bit smaller. I feel like whenever I see a stage like this in terms of hiding under the platform, I think more of like a young Link or somebody who has, sort of combos from their projectiles. Duck Hunt certainly is some, including cannon to up air, but it's more things that send you laterally off to the side. And a huge forward smash by Null, expertly timed to let it rip as Wisdom losing that first stock early.
Well, it would appear some of our concerns were misplaced. Null having no problem dispatching that first stock of Wisdom with pretty much ease, and now working on the second at that. My lord, this center stage really, as we know, favoring Min Min a lot, and kind of just no exception at the moment. Null just bringing the heat, and Wisdom just can't even get set up. These extensions, these arms right now at the moment really yielding a lot of positive results for Null.
Honestly, the use of the boomerang arm, that I believe it's the Ram there. You see the way that Null is able to cut through the can and then knock it back to Wisdom. We saw it a couple times. Yeah, you see that? That's actually a huge risk for Wisdom, because if Wisdom jumps out of shield, he's going to jump right into his own can. I did not know the intricacies of this matchup, but as I'm watching this, I'm seeing it, and actually, Wisdom looks like he's really struggling. Excellent down smash from the spot dodge to take off that first stock, but Wisdom's still at 133.
All right, well done, but my goodness, you have got to credit Null for just coming out here with just the full force. The brunt of the attacks right now is just really overwhelming Wisdom, and I really was anticipating it being more of a struggle, but no, that has not been the case for Null. Just game plan executed, and again, you can always tell when somebody's just a little more prepared than you imagine they could be, and Null kind of right now telling that story. But I don't want to sleep on Wisdom. Again, as incredibly decorated and accomplished as he is in a lot of these competitions, Coney, he's not going to be somebody who just kind of gets knocked out. Very eager to bring this one back, and at 25%, Null sitting at 112, still very doable situation.
No question. And one of the things that we talked about before that we haven't really discussed that much is how unconventional Min Min is. And sometimes you have to learn these matchups on the fly, and Wisdom might be doing that himself. We can see he's actually pacing pretty well up until now. Was doing a lot of damage without taking much of his own. That can is actually a huge issue for Wisdom, though. And that might be what he needs to do, is learn how to play without it, because the can is constantly coming back to bite him. That neutral air is going to do it, and right now 71% on Wisdom. Needs a little bit more to take out this first game against Null.
All about weathering the storm at the moment for Wisdom, and I think he has done a sensational job at that, bringing this thing back. I mean, closing the gap, only about 70%, or excuse me, about a 30% difference at the moment. So Wisdom clearly seeing some light at the end of this tunnel, understanding, okay, yes, it was a rocky start, but I've done a good job really kind of cleaning up the gameplay, slowing things down. You said it best, Coney, learning on the fly, just kind of adapting as you go, something you expect from high-level competitors at this point in the bracket. Again, a trip to grand finals on the line, so you got to bring every single thing you got, and it looks like Wisdom has really picked it up.
I love that use of the fly to get over the double shot from Null. Null was charging both fists, and Wisdom using that up beat as an escape from the platform. Excellent prediction there. And I'm wondering if Wisdom has noticed Null's air dodge habit. It feels like Oh,
The
no.
second one, the big boy. Oof.
Oh, yep. I was just about to say Wisdom might be picking up on Null, who tends to air dodge in a little bit more, or, you know, air dodge when in trouble. And Wisdom might be able to secure a stock from that. Wanted to see if that would come to pass, but it doesn't even matter as Null perfectly times another fist all the way at the ledge, and Wisdom losing their stock, I think, at 100%, 110, very early.
Yeah, good stuff. I mean, and great composure as well, too. You see, you have a huge lead. You kind of let it slip away. You see somebody kind of crawling their way back in. It can get a little nerve-wracking, too. But no, I admire the fact he was able to, nope, you know what? I've been winning up until this point. 90% of the match has been all me. I'm going to close it out, and he did just that. But that'll let you know, Wisdom maybe trying to put him on notice just ever so slightly that, look, this next game is not going to start out as hot for you.
Oh, stop it! Whoa, what is this?
Stop it! What?
Oh, man. All right.
Well,
Diddy Kong is out for Null, and I guess this time he's in the mood. I don't know. We'll see as we're on Battlefield for this next one. I do feel like Null may have seen something in that last match where it felt like Wisdom was sort of getting used to it. We saw that Wisdom was really struggling early on, and Min was doing an excellent job of knocking the can back on Null's side, and maybe he said, you know what, for this next one, it felt like Wisdom was starting to outpace him. Let me throw something new at him, but this might be the first game 3 we see all day, as Wisdom is doing an excellent job keeping Null on his back foot. I
was literally thinking the same thing, because like, how often do you see somebody switch characters after they're winning? You know what I mean? Like, that's just usually not typically the case, but for Null, you know, hey, maybe he did see something indeed. I mean, again, we saw Wisdom definitely start to kind of get his footing as that match started to kind of drag out. So the switch to the Diddy Kong, not proven to be the most effective at the moment. 126 can be a little shaky on that percent. We're all on Battlefield, however, so we're gonna have some room to live, but yeah, definitely something Wisdom's probably thinking like, okay, well, if you're gonna potentially give me a free game, I'm not gonna let it go to waste, unlike that stock, which gets set all the way out.
Yeah, I don't know if the Diddy was the correct pick. I mean, we'll see if Wisdom is maybe a little bit thrown off by it, but it doesn't seem like it so far. I know using those peanuts, throwing down the banana, not quite enough as Wisdom is able to retreat onto the platform. You can see him hiding next to that can. And I feel like that's where Diddy struggles, is like, what can Null do there? If Wisdom is just hiding in shield next to the can, you can't really up air him because you're both going to take damage. You can't throw the banana. I don't really know what the option is, and Wisdom seems well versed in this matchup. Diddy, a very popular character, not so much in this game, but in previous games. And the game plan, Wisdom looks like he was ready for it the whole time.
Yeah, this is, I mean, maybe, you know, if it's kind of like an issue of, okay, well, you know, got a little too close to comfort in the last one. Let me just throw you off guard. A whole lot of claps, but that's about all you're going to get out of that. That stock remaining intact for Wisdom at 133. Just, I think the surprise factor that Null might have been looking for just isn't here. It just isn't here, because Wisdom is just playing this perfectly. I mean, the setups are immaculate. You see the gunman, the placement in the can, and all these hits just adding up. This really could potentially give Wisdom here the 2-stock lead, depending on if Null can strike, but this is nothing going his way. Can't even sneak on in with that command grab Diddy's known for. No, Wisdom having it all scouted out. This is going to game 3, Coney. Our first one of the day.
Yeah, I don't, and Diddy also doesn't really have that really, like, insane comeback factor, right? Yes. I mean, even the forward tilt not KO'd at 147. What the heck? I mean, I don't know what Null can really do to bring this back. Not the real surprise KO factor that a lot of characters have. That up smash is your most reliable, and you can see Wisdom just deftly playing around it. Null has no answers here as we see the shock surprise of a Diddy Kong pick slowly fizzle into nothing. 147 on Wisdom. We've got our first game 3.
You take that, Diddy. You tuck it so far into the pocket it never comes back out again. At least
sew the pocket up. Sew the pocket up.
Exactly. Yeah. At least not for this event, because that wasn't it. And I love Null, great player, Wisdom as well. But I think it's pretty evident that we need Min back. I think Min has to be your go. That's what got you the first game. Yeah, it got a little rocky at it, but it's good. You're playing against somebody very capable. It's gonna get closer there. Trying to throw curveballs, trying to be smooth and creative. You only have such a window to work with in a best of 3, right? Like that's where it really comes down to, like, character selection and commitment being so crucial, because you don't have that much time to work with. And not even gonna hesitate, goes right back to Min, and that is what I want to see. Wisdom, though, has got to be just beaming with confidence coming into this game 3.
You know what? I'm kind of wondering if it's a 5,000 IQ play to go Diddy there, because it did seem like Wisdom was sort of sniffing him out there with the duck hunt, was figuring out his habits, and was knowing exactly how to beat Min Min over time. Maybe Null going Diddy there to throw him off his scent a little bit, to say, okay, I'm going to throw something new at you. I'm going to cool you off a little bit. You'll figure out the Diddy, throwing that game away, but giving him a chance to come back with new stuff on Min Min for game 3. I'm wondering if that was the option.
I don't think I'm not ruling that out, but the problem is, like, that can backfire so hard because you can sit there and give somebody like Wisdom so much confidence, right? So much momentum, and that plays more. I think that plays so much more of a factor than people tend to realize in, you know, big competitive games. I mean, look at right now. I mean, it's 8% to 138. Okay, 8% to 138 up until that hit right there. It's pretty clear who's coming in feeling confident, feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, Wisdom not shaken at all, undeterred. And I think that this stage is perfect for Wisdom, too, because it's so large. Null is going to have to chase him all over the place. I think if you were going to get a stage, this is it. But Null, with excellent 2 frames. You see Wisdom really struggling to make it back, losing their stock at 93. And remember what I said about Diddy not having that real comeback factor, that X factor to take off stocks early? Min Min is on the opposite end of that. That megawatt hurts.
Absolutely. I mean, Diddy, it was kind of almost like a similar situation too with the Diddy calm. But as you even pointed out, you know, that tilt at 144 didn't even KO, so you already knew it was an uphill battle from there. Min Min not suffering any of those disabilities, so that is going to be exactly what keeps us back on even footing, despite it being 130% gap just about a minute and a half ago.
See Null evening it out. Got a little bit slower pace here. This is definitely different than what we've seen most of the day, particularly in the August matches, but we like to see a little bit of a change of pace here as Null trying to find a way to knock Wisdom off the stage in this game 3. Winner, of course, will be going on to Grand Finals to face Dialga in just a little bit. But right now, evenly matched between these two.
Kind of slowed down a little bit to a snail's pace at the moment, as we expected. Wisdom putting some distance between the two. A large stage like this as well does kind of bode well for Wisdom, kind of keep his distance. But Null, obviously using those arms to perfection, just slicing through the can, trying to just kind of make it not even a factor at the moment. Air dodging through, nice. I love what Wisdom did there, anticipating the air dodge, just staying patient, staying seated at that, and then gonna go ahead and take advantage of the fact that Noble's flying off the stage, and this is 1 stock away from Grand Finals for Wisdom. He is honed in, he is keyed in, and no, all the pressure right now, my friend, falls on your shoulders.
Yeah, Wisdom looking very well trained there, sitting and staying on Duck Hunt, doing an excellent job just waiting for Null to give him the stock. And you see Null's air dodge is really coming back to bite him, as we said before. Wisdom throwing out the can to punish Null's air dodge on the left-hand side. And if Null doesn't watch out for that, Wisdom could put out a well-timed smash attack and maybe eliminate that stock early. Oh, another megawatt, 120. Wisdom losing that stock in an instant.
Big time play for Null, needed that, and just like that, like, you know, you consider how that first stock went to open up this game, how Null was able to bring it back despite that insane deficit. The door is still open for Null to go ahead and potentially steal this game back from Wisdom, who I have to imagine has that in the back of his mind, like, okay, I can't allow this guy to get too comfortable, can't allow his momentum, his steam to start rolling, because right now, as I'm speaking, he is certainly letting them hit.
Wait, can he make it? He will, but the 2 frame is so risky. Another megawatt. Null throwing out every fist he has as he clinches it against Wisdom. And we said it before, man. I think the Min really was a surprise for Wisdom. Every time it looked like he was getting a little comfortable, the Min came back super strong.
It was the difference maker of being able to have that comeback mechanic versus not with the Diddy.
Yeah.
That was all she wrote on that one. So, you know, if there was a little bit of, okay, let me throw the Diddy out here just to, as you said, throw him off the scent. Hey, it worked out for you. It paid off. Okay, Min coming through and helping him get that dub. That was crazy.
Jeez.
In our first game 3, by the way. Like
the first game 3, yeah, evenly matched opponents, as you saw there. But we'll see how Null fares in the next match. Let's kick it over to the bracket once more. Null has punched his ticket into Grand Finals against Dialga very shortly in. We're going to see this match coming up. I mean, Dialga just has burned through this bracket with the utmost efficiency, really sped run their first encounter in Winners Finals. What do you think Null is going to have to do to try to come back a little bit stronger in Grands?
Well, I told you what Null needed to do when he lost in Winners Finals in that dominating fashion. You need to come back and you need to play angry, okay? You need to play angry, play efficient at that. I think what Null just did right there, overcoming Wisdom to, you know, somebody who I'm sure people probably had penciled in to get back to grand finals against Dialga. Just that alone, just knowing that you've played far and above your seed, you've made it back for a rematch. It's just a mindset thing at this point. You already know Dialga is somebody who's going to come in, rush you down, combo hard. You have to be able to weather that storm and slow him down to a crawl. That's basically what it's going to come down to, in my opinion.
We'll have to say Dialga is going to face off against Null very shortly. But fellas, that's not all we have for you. Remember, immediately after this grand finals, we're actually going to kick it over to the finals of regions 3 and 4. So there's tons more Smash action to happen. But we are wrapping up with regions 5 and 6 very shortly. Dialga versus Null coming up. Bayonetta against Min Min. And like I said before, they did face off a little bit ago. Dialga just absolutely cleaving through Null, who had no answers. I mean, I was going to say, you know, Diddy Kong does pretty well against Bayonetta, maybe, you know?
Stop it.
Okay, my bad.
And I'm not saying because I think his Diddy's like bad or anything. I just don't think, I just don't know. Well, I mean, that is a good point too, right? Because like you obviously take data that you've had from a previous encounter, which was obviously their winners finals exchange, and then go as well for Knowles. I'm sure it will like. So maybe if you do have a couple other characters in the arsenal you think could hang, I don't know if Diddy's going to be the go-to, but I would say I'd like to see Min Min at least at the start of things. From there, then maybe we kind of just like, oh, okay, well, I need to try something else, right? Just to maybe get on the board. But it's hard. It's a hard call to make in a best of 3.
It's going to be tough. And not only that, but he has to win 2 sets, remember. Yeah. Null is going to have to win 4 games to be able to make himself the online Open October 2020 champion, take home that trophy. Dialga, of course, only needing 2 because he isn't lost in the bracket yet. I think one of the main things that Dialga has done is utilize those edge of stage smash attacks so well. I think as long as you don't lose one of your potential, 6 stocks total to one of those smash attacks, I think Null will be better off because it feels like Dialga is getting away with murder sometimes on those stocks.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that, that's obviously one thing that has allowed him to kind of just tear through the bracket and, confirm and get those easy 2-0s, you know what I'm saying, and just get to this point. So, for Null, it's just all about, I've been on the receiving end. I know what to expect. Like, how do I deal with it? For Dialga, you don't change the game plan. You don't change the game plan. You know what I mean? Like, it's been working to this point. There's no reason. And this would be like just another title, another mantle for Dialga, because you already know, like, these wins, these accomplishments, like, they just add up. They just add to that online resume that he is bolstering quite well. And it is going to be Min Min for the first exchange from Null. So we'll see how it fares. Hopefully a little better than that winners finals.
We see a bit of a smaller stage here. Not sure who that's going to favor. I would imagine that Dialga would be able to rush down Null a little bit more, but we saw how comfortable Null was on the stage in his encounter with Wisdom. You see Null trying to SDI downward, trying to get under those hits that Bayonetta is able to just sort of machine gun out, but Dialga has a contingency for it and gets even more damage from it.
Okay, the which kind of going to allow him to slide in with the side B, and that is a ton of damage that can tend to follow, not even in double digits yet for Dialga, so almost to a sense, Coney picking up where he left off the last time we saw him, but Null has proven a couple of times that he is more than capable of making some sensational comebacks. So if I'm Dialga, I cannot take my foot off the gas knowing that this young man too is well prepared for the long haul.
I love the hesitation from Null. If you notice, every time Dialga is sort of DIing into him, holding in, Null is waiting a second because Dialga has constantly shown the threat of that witch time. Null looking very well prepared here in the first match of this set. Null sort of is seeing through a lot of Dialga's tricks.
I almost feel like Null, to an extent, needs to just start like behind like 70-80%. You know what I mean? Because that's really when he starts to kind of flourish and start to put things together. Like when he's at these crazy deficits, and you think, oh yeah, this stock doesn't have a chance. But even so, as I speak that, he drops it right there. He's got Dialga at 134 compared to how this started. That is not something you might have had in mind.
Yeah, no question. Dialga trying to get back on stage. He's going to rack up a bit of damage. This is sort of the tax that you pay for getting hit by Bayonetta. And there is that slide. You saw it right there. Did not hit the second hit, and Null wasn't ready. The up B is going to come out, but unfortunately, that witch twist stuffed the jump. And Null is down on their last stock. What looked so strong at the start has now really dwindled into nothing for Null, who's now down 2 entire stocks.
And it's just that extra bit of commitment from Dialga that made the difference on that stock. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like, you have those long kind of tethery arms. You think you're going to have more distance on that recovery, but no, you just fall a little bit short than you might imagine. Now it is a complete stock, basically at a half of this percent deficit that you're seeing Null face. So Dialga, he is, again, just kind of piling Bayonetta to perfection at this point.
And one of the frustrating things is that Null was looking so strong, was really baiting out Dialga's witch times and was trying to wait a second just to see if Dialga would try to go for it. And it felt like Null had all the answers, but now he's back at square one, and even if he has those options ready, even if he waits for Dialga, so what? He's not ahead anymore. He has to make something happen on his own. He can't wait for Dialga to make a mistake. And you see Dialga exactly. Null can't afford to wait to swing anymore. It's not like he could just sit there and be even with Dialga. He needs to make a play, and Dialga knows that. And because of that, he's able to throw out the witch time, sensing Null's desperation and taking that first game.
You know, Coney, I almost get the sense that the powers that be specifically decided to make sure today's event was a doubleheader because they knew Dialga was in the bracket, and we know his speed run pedigree at this point. Okay, because he is out here trying to make sure it is 2-0s across the board when he's involved.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Regions 5 and 6, this might be one of the fastest broadcasts we've ever had. Only about an hour and 20 minutes, and that's including breaks and ads. So I don't know here, as we're on Kalos for this potentially final game, Dialga trying to take home that championship trophy. We'll have to see. As Null trying to make his case, he needs to win 4 games. We'll see if Dialga lets it happen, but right now Dialga is so strong.
4 games is certainly a tall ask at this point, but it all starts with this first one, right? It's all starting with getting yourself on the board. Not a bad start, though, here to be in the lead. So Null showing we can play very efficiently, not only from behind, but in the lead as well. This would be a huge moment if he's able to get the stock, and he is. I love it. Null only taking 40%, saying, hold up now. Don't plan your brunch out just yet. We still got some more action to deliver for you.
I love the constant threat, even from mid-stage. Dialga off-stage, Null able to place those arms just so expertly, and I think that's Null's X-Factor. That's where he comes alive, is if he can catch you off-stage. Now Null is actually showing so much proficiency here. You saw Dialga go for that witch time, trying to punish Null's aggression. Null waited a second. He was in the driver's seat, and Dialga is going to pay for it heavily.
Yeah, this is insane. This is Null showing up and really just finally taking the fight to Dialga, which he needed to do, right? Needed to kind of set that tempo, set that tone early. Did just that, has amassed a tremendous lead at that, but Dialga still has a stock, so of course, like I always like to say, still has a chance. Not going to be somebody who's just going to kind of throw it away and just proceed to the next game. No, you're going to have to earn every single percent in every single stock. That is for sure. And even at this deficit that he's facing, really not out of the question for him to maybe bring this one back. I mean, you see Coney, he hasn't been touching like the last 30 seconds. It's just been all-out aggression on the part of Dialga.
Yeah, no question. I mean, Null cannot be too comfortable. Let's not forget how he lost that second stock in the previous game, just getting stuffed out on that recovery, losing his jump immediately. There's the forward air, and that will do it with the star KO. Dialga only 40% roughly, and Null is coming back. You have to remember, he did get the KO at 80, 70, something very early before, but now Dialga slowly creeping his way back into this match.
It was literally like, lead what lead? Okay, let me go ahead and bring this back to a more even footing. Okay, still the deficit is faced about 60%, but that's not too much for Bayonetta to make up, trying to keep distance and to space out these approaches. Like the side B attempts, but not able to connect. No, not giving up any free damage. And this could be big, and it is the assist with the laser coming out of that dragon arm to secure victory for Null, breaking this 2-0 streak of Dialga and forcing this third game, Coney.
Yeah, finally showing a way to make Dialga bleed a little bit. Dialga, and not any of that was anything like a forced error or anything. It's not like Dialga SD'd off the stage or fell off like we see sometimes from Bayonetta's. Every single time, Null had some kind of surprise for him off stage, and I think that Dialga playing Bayonetta feels so comfortable out there. I think that he sort of feels like he can be uncontested in a lot of ways, because Bayonetta's, you know, that side afterburner kick will go through most things. Witch Twist is so strong, but Null has those arms which can reach all the way out there with zero risk. I think Dialga just was not ready for that.
3,
Oh, and look at that, going right back to the stage that allowed Null to get on the board, to allow Null to take that to hand Dialga first L of this top board. Okay, hold up now. That could bode very well for Null if we can repeat that success and really force us into a second set of grand finals. That'd be pretty nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
No question. I think the impetus is on Dialga to not get too comfortable off stage. Null has been placing those offstage smash attacks so well. Null is not Oh, no way. 108, I was going to say. One thing that I'm noticing is that Null has not been falling for the witch times, has been falling for the sort of jump next to your shield and then witch twist like that. Yeah, Null is just holding onto the shield a little bit longer. Dialga does not seem like he has many other tricks to show us, so Dialga needs to, I think, switch gears a little bit, because right now Null is outpacing him.
I think Null's kind of just realized a lot of these approaches that Dialga's elected to go for, I could just react to them, right? I could just decide that, okay, just hold my shield for that extra little bit of time, maybe just spot that, just wait and just be patient and understand, okay, this has been a recipe for success for you all throughout this tournament, but if I just mix up the formula just even a hair, you're not quite, it doesn't seem like you know exactly what to do.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness, dial it up. We could be heading to another set at this pace. My goodness, Null that's imposing his will at the moment against Dialga.
We're talking so much about Dialga resetting the bracket, just speed running, just destroying this entire bracket. Well, it seems like he's going to lose some precious time here, as it looks like we're going to a second game. I think the run may be over for Dialga in terms of the speed run. As you see the witch time, Null putting out the second fist and stopping Dialga from taking that first stock from Null, who's just holding onto it forever.
Just nothing going the way of Dialga, and having to battle on Kalos again back to back, that could very well be a big factor in this as well. Like, there's just a whole lot of things that are not going in favor of Dialga, which is looking like it's going to force him into another set, which time connecting, and so does the fist. But I mean, at this point, does it even matter? I'm not one to count Dialga out, but the threat of the reset is looming, and right on cue, Mega Watt with the slot. That'll do it.
That's a JV3 stock for Null against Dialga, and not only a win, but a huge win, right? That's a big statement to go into the reset. So let's keep in mind, Null has won the first set of grand finals, but since he was coming from losers, he actually has to win one more time against Dialga. So we've got one more set coming up for you, and then of course we have regions 3 and 4 coming right after, so don't go anywhere. But we're gonna have to finish this one up first, as Null is going against Dialga. No character swaps at all. I mean, it's got to be Bayonetta against Min Min again.
Yeah, don't try and get cute and clever with that ditty, okay? Ain't no need for that, all right? The Min Min has come to play efficient, and really just what he's doing in general, just kind of disrupting Dialga and like that, pretty much the approach that we've come to expect from Dialga as far as like how he's able to kind of get those combo strings going and all that damage. He's been very efficient, okay? But I will say the back-to-back Kalos certainly did not hinder Null. Okay, that's definitely something I'm sure he was happy to see, but got a little bit of a different look right now on Smashville.
Yeah, I was going to make that point too, is that remember we had 2 Kalos games in a row that Null was able to take away, but Dialga actually won the first match on Smashville. Now we're back here. See, Dialga can see if lightning can strike twice on the stage. Null with the preemptive air dodge again, but Dialga without a punish, I feel like the guns would have worked there. I think a back air off stage. Dialga maybe a little bit too antsy, but it doesn't matter. Null's going to give him another shot. It's Dialga with 15% on this first stock.
You kind of, I mean, hey, you know what? I think Dialga's playing like, okay, man, you know what? Kalos, you got that one. That's all you. But Smashville, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold real estate on this one. This is going to be my stage where I make my home and collect my bones as well. And that is just exactly what Dialga's doing. He is just dishing out an extraordinary amount of pressure and just really no signs of slowing down at the moment. Null just kind of wishing maybe a third Kalos could have been nice to see at the moment, but that is not what we have to deal with. You kind of got to play the cards that you are dealt. Oh, tries to sneaky that extension. That would have been nice.
Those could just steal stocks away. Dialga could thank his lucky stars. And again, Null just keeps getting those stocks. I think he was waiting for an air dodge or a witch time there, and Null just charging that smash attack. Dialga trying to jump out of shield, gets stuffed. doesn't seem to matter too much as Dialga, with a response of his own, waiting for that down air and getting the forward smash. Both of these guys are just expert players at conditioning the other.
I think that is absolutely it. I mean, and you can tell too, especially right now for Dialga, like in the driver's seat fully. This is exactly how he's looking to start off the second set of Grand Finals. Probably in his mind doesn't even think he should be here, but no, with just that aggressiveness, just that never give up kind of attitude is really what kind of brought him to the dance so far. But Dialga is back on his home, back with all the pudding, the pressure, everything just mounting up at the moment for him, and he is just one step ahead of everything Null is trying to do.
I think Null has some very clear habits that Dialga's catching on to. Oh, wow, but that down air, what? I didn't even know you could do that.
What the hickety heck? All right, man. We still got some plays out here. Hold up, no.
Oh, no.
Hold on, don't think it can happen.
Hold up. Dialga retreating to the platform, going for the desperation witch time, going for that air dodge. Dialga is reeling. He's wobbly in the knees right now. And Dialga getting knocked out by Null, throwing out both fists in dominating fashion. That was absurd. That final stock, everything from that down air to the very end was just picture perfect.
That was a home run, not just out the bar, at the whole stadium, bro. The parking lot, just all the way over the city. Oh my, what a play from Null. And that's the crazy thing too. This guy, how many times has he shown like from behind is when he's most dangerous?
Yes.
Okay, Dialga full control 95% of that match, but the other 5%, the closeout, the down the stretch, that's when Null really turns on those kicks.
And it just feels like that down air was like a haymaker right to the jaw. And Dialga wasn't out, but he was reeling. The knees were weak. He was wobbling. He was up against the ropes. And there at the very end is when Null comes alive. And just this flurry of fists, Dialga was not able to keep up. Tried a couple cute, cheeky things. Like you saw the witch time off the platform. He was trying to punish Null's over-aggression. But Null, such a veteran, such an expert player, waited for it. Realized the opportunity that he had. He didn't swing at that moment, and he waited for the next one. And again, that laser KO, that dragon arm for Null is just paying off so well for him.
Just insanity, man. I mean, that's all it is. And now if you're Dialga, you're kind of thinking like, okay, like, all right, I understand. Like, I was just a dominant force on the winner side of things. Got dropped down to the second set of Grand Finals. What do I have to do to change my fortune? Do I just stick to the game plan? I think, yes, you do. You've been in the lead several times, but, you know, for some reason or not, the closeout just hasn't been there. And Coney, and what stage could you can't, if you're Null, you're just salivating at this opportunity to close it out. And not only go ahead and capture the titles, do it potentially in a 2-0 fashion, the very same 2-0 fashion that put you in losers to begin with. Oh, no. This has poetic justice written all over it.
Yeah, this could be tough. And honestly, whenever Dialga is getting these combos in this lead, I'm not even really counting it anymore. No, it's just, it feels like it's just going to happen anyway. You see Null with that dragon laser just over and over, taking the fight to Dialga off stage. Dialga going to go for this combo. I think we're going to see a forward air, but it's not going to KO off the top. 164, staying alive.
That was with a whole lot of real estate. Oh, the up smash out of shield attempt gets met with a well-timed back air. Great play from Dialga, actually. Almost been baiting him to come out of that shield. So strong lead for Dialga, but you know, I've become accustomed to these leads, but the victory that follows not always the guarantee. So no, I'm sure he's still feeling pretty confident about himself, but Dialga, it's really all about like, I need to start bringing back some momentum on my side.
Yeah, it's a test of mental fortitude, I think, for Null, who just has to stay composed. We've seen over and over that he's able to take these games even when he's behind like this. But Dialga, maybe this is a different beast. Maybe this is early bracket Dialga that we saw before, coming alive in a new form as the Kalos pick is not working out for Null here.
Might have been, I don't know, and you know, you can only make the case. Maybe, you know, got those wins, ran through it so quick, got a little sluggish, went down himself uncrustable, something like that, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, finally starting to hit them digested.
Need some nutrients.
Yeah, hitting them digested tracks, and now it's all starting to settle in, and now Dialga's like, all right, I'm kind of back to where I left off on the winner side of things. I don't care what the stage is. I know who I am as a player. So Null getting kind of slapped around, these hands being delivered to the arms piloting character at the moment. Really going to take a heck of an effort again from Null. Not counting him out, but this could very well be a game number 3. If Dialga has anything to say about it, and he's saying a whole lot with that 2 stock.
Whew, 34% two stock. Dialga back to his old ways, maybe taking a vitamins gummy and saying, you know what, I'm awake now. I'm good to go. I'm set. Maybe taking a step outside into the sun, getting some vitamin D, who knows? But Dialga is looking well prepared to take it to Null for this final game. This is the final game of the event no matter what. Don't go anywhere right after because you know we got 3 and 4 coming. But the last game of this event is happening right now, and they're going right back into it. There's no hesitation there. And stage is going to be small battlefield. This is new for these two.
They are just, you know, they had to just be spamming start. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. No hesitation. No need to think. Like, you already know we're not switching characters. We're not doing nothing. Just take it to the stage, and we'll make it work either way it gets. So small battlefield going to be where regions 5 and 6 comes to its conclusion. Our champion of the event. Dialga had coming into this certainly favored, but Null has just shown so much poise, so much fight in him to not let this thing get away. But at the moment, it is Dialga who's built up this hefty lead at the start with a very solid percent.
Feels like everything is going to come down to the last stock. I mean, Null, that is where he has consistently come alive. Dialga has the early game, has the huge combos, gets 80% essentially for free. Yeah. But Null's X factor is how long he can survive and if he can get those offstage KOs. Doesn't seem to be happening just yet. Dialga playing a lot tighter here, has just sort of closed the window maybe on Null's chances, as there are really no openings for Null to exploit.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing too, right? Like, Dialga has not really put himself in a position where Null can make some of those, you know, sensational comeback type plays that we've kind of become accustomed to seeing. Like, and even just the approach is different too. You're not really seeing him opt to just kind of jump at his shield and then just let that witch twist kind of go. Like, there are more openings presenting themselves in other way, and really that comes down to Dialga, I think, just kind of almost slowing the pace down in a sense where it's just like, I'm not going to come at you and throw out what you think is the most optimal thing for me. I'm going to allow you to just kind of swing those arms, and I'm going to be in there striking when you least suspect it. And that paid off up until that point. Null, though, able to finally get that stock off, only facing about 85. Oh, hold on. Can I finish my sentence, Dialga? That's all I'm asking. 125 for Null.
More and more racking it up. Dialga trying to land these hits, goes for the down air. I think he was expecting a spot touch or something like that, but gonna land on the shield. Null's shield is very low, and I think Dialga's mistake there. Oh, goes for the down airs off the platform, gets stuck on a little sticky there. But you see that I think Dialga's mistake there in that last stock was maybe a little bit too much gas. I think that he was so far ahead with such a low percent that he didn't have to approach Null as haphazardly as he did, and Null might be able to take this opportunity to put some points on the board. I totally agree with what you were saying earlier, is that Dialga felt like the impetus was on Dialga to create the openings for Null to exploit. But Null has found his way back in here because Dialga, I think, may be a little bit too aggressive.
Those aggressive points at times, obviously, they bode well for Dialga, but we have seen it kind of betray him in a sense as well.
Not like this! Don't end it like that! No!
What are we doing down there?
Oh no!
That's the opposite of up. What are we doing down there?
We saw him use the down air time and time again to try to make it back down to the stage. Sometimes trying to use it to get the ledge a little bit too low, and the pressure just got to him. It was a little bit too much, and Null cracks, and that means the Dialga is actually going to be your Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North American Online Open October 2020 Grand Champion, staying strong to the very end. Unfortunately, Null was looking pretty good, but he didn't get that final stock like he did all the other games where he was able to pull things back.
Really, you know, mental fortitude, pressure mounts, those closing moments, you're down a stock, you're just thinking, okay, I got to get back and just bring it, close it out quick, and then you just make a tech error that you haven't seen him make all throughout this bracket, right? It's been clean play, it's been flawless play. If you lose a stock, it's by your own accord, or it's by your own accord, not by a simple mistake like that. So that is truly unfortunate. Nothing but props to Null, but Dialga was just like, anyway, I'll take it, baby. I'm not going to be denied. I want another title.
Well done to Dialga. Let's take one more look at the bracket, the final standings of these competitors. You see Dialga, who was the clear favorite, I think, as we watch this tournament progress, will be your grand champion. Null does reset it, take him all the way to the very end, but Dialga is going to be your champion even in that third and final game. Meanwhile, you've got Wisdom, Shouko, and Null also taking home top 4 trophies. Definitely big shout outs to those guys, have made it so far into this event. We saw some great can play from Wisdom. Obviously, the Min expert Null and Shouko doing their best to try to make it through this tournament, but unfortunately was not able to win a game. But has still made it all the way to this top 4 out of, I think, 900 people. Huge accomplishment there.
Yeah, nothing but respect for all 4 of our competitors. Certainly put on a show for sure. Made things interesting too, and seemed like we were setting that 2-0 trend yet again all across the board. And then people just started like, okay, you know what? We're catching on. We're getting more settled in. And Null and Dialga definitely gave us a very memorable grand finals.
No question. All right, fellas, don't go anywhere. We've got regions 3 and 4 coming up for you very shortly. It was a very exciting 5 and 6, but we've got a whole new top 4 with brand new competitors coming up for you very shortly. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.